Welcome everyone. I want to chat about a couple things before we dive into actual Warhammer. But I hope it'll be interesting. So my wife is in one of the Hollywood unions, and at this time of year, we traditionally get a bunch of screeners. So DVDs of movies, sometimes TV shows that have come out in the last, whatever time. And sometimes the studios will send like interesting packages and stuff with that, but usually they don't. But every once in a while, a studio will do something interesting. Well, we got this thing that was kind of cool. It's an in-universe magazine from the boys, and they use this as like a presentation for basically for award season. And within the framework of it being in universe, they have all of these. So first of all, they have a bunch of ads for fictional movies and things in the boys universe, but then a bunch of articles about people who worked on the show, but again, like nested within an in-universe framework, which is really cool. So they talk about the visual effects. I mean, I guess there some spoiler warning here. Sorry, but yeah, I thought this was pretty neat. Again, like she goes through a costume change, so they talk about that with the costume designer for the show, which is pretty cool. NECA is doing boys action figures. They've only shown prototypes for Homelander and Starlight. Original costume Starlight. And I saw some interesting comments about how come they didn't put her in the sexy costume for the action figure, and I'm like, really? That's your first reaction? So I thought this thing was pretty cool, and it took me a minute to like understand what they had done with this, because it's all in universe with like VOT whatever, but yeah, it's neat. And again, all of the ads for the in universe stuff is pretty cool. Whereas they talk about that guy, Love Sausage. Yeah, fans are super weird. But yeah, like for your consideration, the Dawn of the Seven movie, like they for all categories. So yeah, it's also partly a send up of the typical ads for things when it comes to award season. But yeah, thought that was neat. Rising Tide. Silly. And then there's like a reverse version for the Revolt side. So yeah. That was interesting. Everybody watch The Boys. It's pretty good. I did sit down and read through the entire comic series. It's super edgy, super adult, and super gross. So there's that. Why would I do it to myself? I don't know. I get on these kicks where I'm like, all right, if there's a thing that's based on a thing, I'm gonna go and check out the thing, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, the show is good. I like the show. It's pretty consistent within its own world. It's not exactly like the comic. There are some pretty major changes, but it's definitely the feel of the book. Hey, Patty. The Boys, the comic, super gross. Super gross. I want to say thank you to somebody who's watching right now. I got a package in the mail, a surprise package. I wasn't expecting it, but I got a really nice care package. It came that had a whole bunch of really cool stuff. So we've got a couple of sets. So this was The Toughest Girls of the Galaxy was a Kickstarter made by Raging Heroes, and it's another one of these companies in Europe that does essentially third-party Warhammer miniatures and other stuff too. They have a bunch of really interesting things, but these are a couple of their warrior, like soldier ladies. So it's a pack of, and you can see it's just some resin sprues, all the different parts, lots of options, which is great. So it's the Coyote Crew Troops and then a Coyote Crew Command pack. They lean a little bit toward the cheesecake-ish stuff, but it's nothing is super explicit. Really good detail on these models. Looking forward to building these. So you can see like all the different, it has a lot of flash on it, but a lot of different options for all the, well, that maybe not the best. Resin and options, yeah, for sure. A bunch of cool heads. I like the ears. But yeah, our good friend Sebastian over in Germany, thank you so much for sending this over. Yeah, I don't know how well you can see because there's a lot of sprues and stuff, but the parts look great. So yeah, these will be great for. I mean, depending on how I put them together and you know accessorize them, they could be Astra Militarum, they could be Chaos Cultists. There's some different things I could do with it, and also in the box. Like I said, this package was huge and amazing. But he sent me the Imperial Infantryman's Handbook, which is funny because I literally had it among a lot of other things, to be honest. But I had it in my Amazon cart. I was almost gonna buy it, and you sent it to me, which is so cool. This thing, if you haven't seen this, it's an in-universe guide for Astra Militarum soldiers, and it's everything from requisitioning new kits, and it's all written super tongue-in-cheek. It's fantastic, and this is the combination of a couple of there was like an older book, and then there was some online content, so it's got a whole bunch of stuff in it. But yeah, it's really great. It's pretty much about how like you're gonna die and life in the yeah exactly, and life in is bad. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading through this. Cowardice. Cowardice is an affliction of the weak and feeble-minded. It is your greatest enemy on the battlefield and must be fought against with every fiber of your being. Nice. Inspirational speeches and quotes. Great Imperial heroes. Yeah, so very cool stuff. Yeah, this is the new one. It's got a bookmark inside. So yeah, it says all troopers are hereby ordered to replace their copies of the Imperial Munitorum Manual and Imperial Infantryman's Uplifting Primer with this combined edition. Cool. So yeah, so thank you so much for that, and again, and more. Some of which I will be doing things with on stream. So today I'm gonna keep things light and easy, and I'm gonna continue on with my Blackstone Fortress models while we chat. Let's do some weird monsters. So again, there's all sorts of creatures and things in here. While we have a chat. How's everybody doing on this Wednesday? Let's do some Urguls. There should be 2 on each sprue. It's just a body and a face, it looks like. That should be fairly straightforward. Did we talked about Psycho Gorman? Did we talk about that? I can't remember. We watched Psycho Gorman. Okay, 40. I want to make sure I get the right the right creature with the right face. Otherwise, I don't know if it'll fit. Oh, Zardoz, I know I missed something. You've got a Horus Heresy Legion Pin Badge 2 set. Oh, cool. I mean, that has, like, some of the okay Legions in it. No, that's great. I've yet to see any of those pins in person, but they certainly look cool. Yeah, and so remember that with these two exact same sprues, so remember to do them at the same time to make it easy. Oh, I guess I didn't, because on Monday we dove right into Troy, and then yesterday was toys. Yeah, so we watched on Sunday. We watched Psycho Goreman. Have any of you heard of this fine piece of cinema? Whoa. Psycho Goreman. Oh, and Zardoz, what Blood Bowl are you putting together? Psycho Goreman, which is really just fun to say. It's how do you describe that movie? It's definitely horror comedy. So if you're not into that world, it's probably something you can skip. Very, very good use of practical effects and like monster suits and things like that. Some of it feels like Super Sentai kind of stuff. Some of it feels a little like Marty Krofft kind of stuff. It's just, yeah. Oh, Grave Encounters, nice. But yeah, it's definitely more comedic than horror. So, keep your expectations in mind. It's available on streaming. We only saw places where you had to pay for it. We rented it on Amazon for like $6. So it was the first thing that my wife and I had sat down and watched together in a very long time. We don't get much time to just relax and watch TV and do something like that. So we thought, what the hell? We'll try something new for a change. Most nights, once the kids go to bed, it's full work time until the wee hours of the morning, and then we get a little bit of sleep, and then not too much after that. It's time to wake up and start the process with the kids and school. It's a never-ending cycle, but it's all good. We're surviving. All right, so again, these are all push fit. So we got the whole body, and then just an itty-bitty head that plugs right in. I won't do all the hand motions, but remember, don't get glue in the push fit holes. You all know what that looks like. These, I don't even think I need any glue on there at all. It looks like these are going to plug in really well. Oh yeah, Patty. When you go back and watch stuff that, yeah, if it's been redone a million times, it's like, okay, that's definitely a danger in watching old stuff that other people have used as inspiration for things. There we go. Cool. And then you have little monsters. Oracles suck. Well, I mean, they look cool. They get itty bitty bases, looks like. Yeah, I imagine they're tough in the game. I have yet to play. One day, maybe. I don't know, probably not. I don't have any specific things to say just yet, but we're looking at doing some fun stuff this Saturday for the War Room stream. Things are in work. I don't know exactly if everything's going to come together, so I don't want to talk too much. But we're trying to do some stuff. See how it turns out. Yeah, Patty, that makes sense. What was the one that everybody was talking about? Oh, I always think about with that kind of stuff. It's not exactly the same, but some of the complaints that people had about the John Carter of Mars movie, like, oh, it's so, it's so derivative of all of these other things, and it's like, no, all of those other things were derivative of that in the original. They just hadn't made a movie of it yet. But yeah, there are definitely genres out there where the proliferation of things make it so that you go back and watch some of the older stuff and it doesn't necessarily have the same punch that it once did. Stardust, you gotta focus. One thing at a time. You got too many models floating around. Yeah, John Carter Mars, like the book is super OG, but the movie was a little late to the table. I watched that movie. Man, I wish I could say I liked it, but I don't think I did. It was okay. It wasn't terrible, but I don't know. Hector is a huge fan of that movie and the property. He probably has it in 3D. Maybe once the pandemic is over, I'll go watch it in 3D with him and see it how it was supposed to be seen. At least according to him. Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's a decent movie. It's certainly watchable. There's some fun moments, some interesting tech, from what I remember. I think that, and yeah, for that kind of movie, having large chunks of it be forgettable is not necessarily a bad thing, because yeah, you're like, one day it'll be on and I'll sit down and have it on while I'm doing something else and I'll be like, oh, I didn't remember that. That's cool. Then that's enough. So yeah, that's fine. But yeah, Hector went all in, man. He got the role playing game, and he got a bunch of miniatures for it. It's crazy. Okay, with that. Oh yeah, the ghouls are done. They didn't add any more of these creatures in the expansions, right? Just I know they did with the spindle drones and the giant drone. Do they do any more ghoul things? I don't know. Oh, and then I started watching the Titans show. The DC Titan show, which, well, it was on DC Universe, now it's on HBO Max. Who knows what it'll be next week. Okay, so the spindle drones, I'm looking for parts 44, 45, and 46. Let's see. 44, 45, 49. Oh, 46, okay. Four, 5, 6. Ooh, these guys have itty bitty little things. Yeah, so yeah, the Titan show. It's fine. I mean, I'm 2.5 episodes in. Man, it feels outdated only because, with the Wonder Woman movies and Aquaman, we're not quite in that level of grittiness for the movies these days. But wow, that show is gritty. In the very first episode, you've got Robin saying "F Batman" and all that other good stuff. And oh my god, and the heroes just like murdering people left and right. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, you can play everything in Blackstone Fortress in 40K, although some of it just has like one keyword, and it doesn't really. A lot of stuff doesn't really synergize with anything else, but you can. Let me know if anything weird happens with the stream. I know some people were talking yesterday. There was some weird stuff going on with Twitch yesterday. It wasn't so bad for my stream yesterday morning. I mean, my rate was bouncing all over the place, but afterward, like, we raided Pete, and I couldn't even, on my computer, I couldn't even get to Pete's channel. It wouldn't even load it, and then we had some issues yesterday afternoon on Jessica's stream. So hopefully they fixed or identified whatever was causing all that, and it doesn't happen today. Oh, is it also on Pete's end? Interesting. All right, these spindle drones are really itty bitty. But we can do it. We can do it. What else? What else do I want to talk about? Hold on, focus in. Okay, there we go. They are certainly spindly. Yeah, they have these little tiny hook appendages. So that's got to go somewhere. That's pretty small. They look cool though. Yeah, and in that it was the finale, the final expansion for Blackstone Fortress that has the giant one, right? I want to talk about the weather. I mean, hey, we are getting rain here in Southern California, so that is newsworthy. Some people the other day actually got, well, okay, we Southern Californians called it snow. I know it's not technically snow. It's what's that G word that's like snow, but it's not quite snow. I'm sure some of you who live in colder climates can school me on what it actually is. But we didn't get it here in Burbank. People got it in Pasadena, which is like 2 towns over. It's like gravel, but it's grapple or something. I don't know. It's some sort of like not quite snow. I don't know, like there's some technical term for it. No, I know what hail is. It wasn't hail. Although we did get some of that too. Groupon. That's the one. Patty is snow now. Yeah, no, we always get very excited when anything comes out of the sky that's anything. Grapple, that's a thing, right? Somebody look up grapple. Let's see what that is. Because it's literally, again, and when I say snow, I'm pretty sure it isn't a thing. It is a thing. Graupel, I think. It's some form of precipitation. So even the snow that we're talking about is like just the barest tiny bit of anything. Yeah, and it's only happened here twice in my life. So yeah, not a lot of snow here. A light hail-like snow. Okay, cool. See, it does exist. Thank you. But yes, people were very excited. Although again, we didn't get it here, so I was bummed. The kids would have enjoyed it. Again, for our climate here, even tiny hail is something to be celebrated and enjoyed. All right, yeah, call it whatever you want. That's fine. We called it snow. Yeah, I think most of you who are watching would laugh at our snow. Yeah, my mom who lives in Mom, I don't know if you're watching, but they've got real snow out in New York. Yeah, it's sleet for California. These guys have the same size bases, I guess. They look teeny tiny, but oh, not that one. Sometimes you dig in your bag of bases and you get a weird one. That's fun. Okay, we have the base body. We plug in their third leg. Oh, and it plugs into their butt. Oh, I see how it goes. Okay, that's a leg. Gonna do a little dab of glue. Far away from the hole, though. Remember, don't get glue in the hole. Oh, and it just pops right in there. Cool. And then the front panel just attaches up on the top. Again, I'm going to do a tiny dab of glue. Glue is not required for these, but I'm paranoid. I don't like putting models together without any glue at all. It freaks me out. And then it should plug together. And we've got a little tiny guy. Cool. Neat. Oh, we've been talking about it on the Discord, but massive news in the HeroClix world. Just epic. And I love that WizKids put out an article last week saying, yeah, we've been looking at the rules. We've got new sets coming out this year. We want to make some slight rules updates. We're going to update the game a little bit. The first thing they announce is like a title shift in how the game is played. It's like, oh, just a small change. Like, oh, okay. There you go. I mean, I'm not gonna call the new HeroClix like a completely different game, but they essentially cut out one of the key defining mechanics of the game just in one fell swoop. And yeah, as you can imagine, some people are freaking out. And I get it, but at the same time, it's literally only the first article of what is sure to be a series, and they're going to have other announcements. We don't know how everything's going to synergize with this one big rules change, and give them time to explain at least. And even beyond that, like try it out before you rage quit and sell everything on eBay. Oh, this is a little bit tough to get into the base. I don't want to break these little itty bitty bits. That should work. Yeah, so I don't recommend people rage quitting and selling all their figures. I also don't recommend anybody buying anything right now at all or jumping into the game. And yeah, on the Discord, poor Minty Squids was like, "Hey, I'd like to learn how to play the game." It's like, well, not right now. Now is the worst time. Whoa, this one doesn't. Is this a? Oh, why is this base different? Interesting. Yeah, I've got a really weird mix of bases in this. And some of them just don't work. You'd think all slotted bases are created equal, but apparently they are not. Huh, okay. Oh, Patty. Well, but you know what? It's especially silly. They're slightly different. They're the same size, but they are slightly different. Some of them have like a little punch. Let me show you this. Actually, because I do need to find some of these other ones. Here. So you can see they are slightly different. And the slot is a little narrower on that one. Yeah, it's annoying. But they are the same size. One is from 1992. Wow, that's old. And the other is 2005. So there. That's fine. I have plenty of bases. What was I going to say? I'm actually working on a HeroClix review right now. I can't talk about it, but I have more HeroClix content coming. And it looks like this other drone is the same, basically the same configuration, same way to put it together. That's cool. And you get 4 drones total, 2 on each sprue. Zardoz, no, I do not have an inside line as far as the rules. And without going into detail, I will remind people that the new rules are coming out along with the Wonder Woman anniversary set that's coming out later this year. But there is HeroClix scheduled to come out before that. So that's all I will say. I'm always open when they're revamping rules for good reasons. Ooh, don't drop the glue. And they're always looking to streamline things. HeroClix, while the core mechanic of HeroClix is very simple, that game does have a huge amount of powers that new players, you just have to memorize what they all do. And it's a lot. And that's even before you get into all of the figures that have unique special powers and traits and how all those things interact and the different size figures. And it can get pretty daunting. So they've announced that they're doing things to streamline. they've already for a while been playing with the idea. So it's a collectible miniatures game, right? So when you open a booster, a blind booster, you're going to get a couple of common figures, an uncommon figure, and then a rare or a super rare or a chase or an ultra chase, depending on the set. So they've, like I said, for a while they've been trending toward making it so that the common and uncommon figures are relatively basic, not a lot that you have to learn, not a lot of special rules and abilities, and they're going to save that kind of mechanics for the more rare figures, which also keeps people buying, and you got to buy more and more boosters to try to find those rare figures that are going to be the most powerful. Hey, Emily. But again, that's not exactly new. It's also a game. It used to be, HeroClix used to be pretty easy to get into and collect. In more recent times, WizKids figured out that they've got a really loyal, hardcore customer base. And they just started spamming expansion sets like crazy. I mean, like every other month, a big set would come out, and they would bounce back and forth. There'd be a Marvel set, then a DC set, then something else like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and other properties. But man, there were a couple of years there where it was just non-stop releases. Schmucks. Well, I mean, collectors, players. Thankfully, they have slowed down. The release rate is not quite so hectic as it was. It's still a lot though. They put out a lot of product. All right, I missed the actual spindle for one of my drones. There it is. Good. What are those agendas? They're not agendas, but they're specific characters that have the... So marquee figures were like single non-blind figures that came alongside new sets. They haven't had those for a while now. Yeah, they've also played with different formats of products. Yeah, that's not that one. They revamped how starter sets worked last year, so the new starters are pretty cool. They're even changing that. Like it was an Avengers versus the Masters of Evil. That set came out a few months ago, and that was another way they're trying to make things easier for new players. So you had, I forget how many figures were in that set. 10? 5 Avengers, 5 Masters of Evil. And each figure had essentially 2 different dials. One dial that was super basic, only a couple of powers, and then had a more advanced dial for, if you wanted to actually play it in real games. And that was cool. And then it had a bunch of like narrative missions with rules and things. So I like that. And again, for Wonder Woman, it looks like they're coming out with something similar, but we don't know exactly what it's going to be yet. I like HeroClix. I'm a fan. I do love the range of licenses and how all of them can be played together. And in theory, they're all point costed appropriately. So you can have Frodo fighting the Enterprise, fighting Raphael, fighting Batman, fighting Captain America, fighting Chun-Li, fighting Cortana, fighting... I don't know. They have a lot of licenses, or they have had over the years. Dark Magician. There you go. Yep, they did 3 Yu-Gi-Oh sets. Oh, and that's not even to talk about all the WWE content. So yeah, it's a good game. There's like 1 in a set. Sorry, I am not exactly sure what figures you're talking about. I mean, in the ancient days, they had, what were they called? Like arch enemy figures, but I don't think that's exactly. Essentially, they're for rarity. They're common, uncommon, rare, super rare, chase, and then sometimes there's an ultra chase, and then beyond that rarity, within each of the common, uncommon, rare, super rare, there's a prime, which is an alternate version of one of the standard figures, but that's rarer than the other ones, except for the super rare. Those are all pretty much the same rarity. But the deal is you can only ever have one prime figure on a team, unless you play with something that has special rules that let you play more. Clicks that comes as expanded. Oh! I think you're talking about the yes. What do they call those? Those silly things. Yeah, it's sort of based off of Magic the Gathering rules. Not headline. Oh, what the heck is the name of those things? I don't think I've ever actually played a game with one of those jerkwads. That's oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. No. But yeah, they took something out of the Magic the Gathering playbook, and they're figures that, I mean, you can play them on any team, and you don't have to use their super complicated special abilities, but essentially they get plot points that you can spend on certain things, and then you can gather them up to do like a super ability. And yeah, they just added a huge level of complexity to the game. What the hell are those things called? Oh, it is right on the tip of my tongue. I'll remember as soon as the stream is over. Don't worry. Where's Arsenal Roy 2K? He can answer this question. Yeah, and usually there's like one of those per set these days. Sometimes more. Like I said, I have some of them. I've never actually played one of them. I have the Captain Kirk. That's like that. Alright, should we do some... Should we try these Negavolt cultists? I know they're annoying, but they look cool. What the hell are the name of this thing? Why can't we remember this? Where's Arsenal Roy 2K? He knows everything about HeroClix. Alright, Negavolt cultists. Ooh, these get bigger bases. They're on 32s. But not the 32 with the added little hole in it. I gotta save those for other people. You can solve your Negavolt. No, I haven't even built them yet. Give me a chance. Negavolt cultists. Look at all these bases of holes in them. So yeah, expect some more HeroClix talk in the upcoming weeks. We'll figure out the new version of the game together. Come on, where am I? There we go. There we go. Nope, I thought he was here, but I guess he's not. He abandoned us in our hour of need. That's okay. Okay, where are our electro dudes? 28, 29, 30, 31. Would help if I held it on the side with the numbers. Hunting for the pieces. 37? No. 30? That's one I need. 28. These guys are scattered all over the place. Oh, Zardoz, what did you do? Okay, so that's 28. 29. I see a foot. Link. Nope. Well, that'll get you censured at least. 30 and 31. Yeah, people have strong feelings about stuff. Oh, I wanted to say, that's one of the things I want to talk about. So streaming is a very interesting hobby, I suppose you would say, for most of us. Some people would call it a profession, career even. And it's definitely easy to hate on some of them, some of us, I suppose. But I will say that there was some undue reaction that was going on the other day. Hold on one second. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So there was an interview that was released with Ninja. Now, I know practically nothing about Ninja. I know that at one point he was the biggest streamer in the world. I know that he's bounced between a couple of different companies. He's back on Twitch. I don't know. I know nothing about him. There was a headline from the article and a couple of quotes, like the barest of a quote that was being circulated around the internet. Even some of our friends recirculated it with some comments on it. That's fine. No problem with that. It seemed a little bit provocative. So I went and actually read. I didn't even. You know what? I'm going to tell you. I didn't even read the entire article, but I went and read, or the interview. But I went and read some of the interview, and from what I saw, the quotes that were being used and passed around were not representative of what was actually in the interview. So it was being passed around something about how Ninja was saying that, oh, I can't be bothered. Kids need to be parented. It's not my responsibility. Blah blah blah. But if you read the article, that's not really what he said. That was a mischaracterization. And the article was more about how, dear God, some kids are exhibiting really racist and awful language on the internet, and there's a source for why they come on the internet and immediately think that they can say these things, and then we were talking about like how he has to deal with that and what other people see when they're in his chat and stuff. But yeah, I thought that was kind of unfortunate. And again, I don't know the guy. I don't know if he's a good guy or not. I don't particularly care. But we should try to keep some truth in journalism and report on things accurately. But he could have said it's bad. I don't want it in my chat. Period. Yeah, that's for sure. I'm just saying that the way that article. I keep saying article. I guess it's just an interview. The way that it was being circulated was more, I think, was more negative than the actual content deserved. But it's a tough thing. I mean, especially if you're that big. Like, how do you moderate? I mean, you must need an army of mods anytime you go online. It's one thing that's nice about being a small streamer with a small but very lovely audience. I don't have to worry too much about stuff like that. On the rare occasions that I get a troll, it's fairly obvious pretty quickly. It's been a while since we've had one. Oh yeah, so that and Zardoz, I don't know if there were other things that came out or that he said later. I'm just looking at that one specific interview that was being spread pretty widely. Yeah, feel free to let me know if he did other things and I should reverse my opinion, because I'm happy to do that. Oh, these guys are lots of little fiddly bits. Thankfully, there are only 4 of them. And again, I did have some wild ideas about how to convert these into some sort of heavy metal something for my Emperor's Children, but nah, not necessary. It's also hard to imagine what somebody like that, with literally millions of people watching him, and I'm sure he gets questions all the time about this kind of stuff and being a role model and all this stuff. And it's like, at the end of the day, this dude just goes online and plays video games. Like, I think he's one of those, right? He doesn't even really interact with the audience very much and talk. But yes, I mean, obviously we should all take anti-racist stances and, and ideally, yeah, he would have those rules in places. He would have moderators in place to handle that kind of thing. But yeah. Oh, and all these pieces are just for 2 of these guys. There are 2 more after that. Oh yeah, and I don't know if there's anything subsequent. I'm only referring to the interview. But clearly there's more nuance to this situation. Yeah, Ruiner, you're not wrong. Somebody was just talking online or on the news or something about how, yeah, racism is learned, and oftentimes has to be unlearned. Which is a hard thing, right? When you come into contact with people who have backwards opinions, backwards thoughts and feelings about stuff, and the immediate reaction that a lot of us have, rightly so, is, holy crap, you're a friggin' idiot. What the hell are you talking about? But sometimes you do need to take a step back and be like, okay, well, where and why are you like this? How and why, I guess. And, did you not have a chance to learn the right thing? Hey, Tiny Chris. Yeah, we're just chatting. got into some heavy stuff there for a minute. But yeah, some racists came into it accidentally, essentially, and you need to help guide them out of their mindset rather than just yell and scream in their faces, which I know sometimes, like, you really, really want to do. Right, Savage Punch, that's right. We all need to be together for for when our robot overlords come. before you set them on fire. That I agree. Yeah, well, and people have to want to change. And people have to be open to looking at what they're doing and saying, and certainly not everybody is. God, look at how narrow these these fellas are. They kind of don't look like anything until you get their arms on. So let's do that. Let's give this guy some arms. Oh, cool. And it's part of his head, too, that attaches later. Well, that makes sense. How does this one work? Not like that. There we go. Ooh, so fiddly. Man, how do people with bigger, thicker fingers do this? Oh, there we go. Okay, that's kind of cool. That worked. So here we got. Let's do it this way. So he's got this big power generator stuck in his back, and it goes to these electro prods in his arms, and then of course he's got the electro tentacles coming out of his head. Why not? Yeah, Savage Punch. There's certainly a history of cultures, yeah, more advanced cultures meeting lesser ones, and then usually the lesser ones get annihilated or at least assimilated and lose their culture and their uniqueness. To quote the Borg, there we go. Okay. And yes, Tiny Chris. That's definitely a meme that happens whenever there's a gathering of losers. Everyone's like, "What? This is what the master race is supposed to be?" Really? Oh, Zardoz, I know what you're referring to with all the new ridiculous rules for Dark Angels. Ninth edition certainly seems to be good for the Dark Angels. Man, no offense to you, but Dark Angels players are definitely a little bit like the Grey Knight players. When your stuff is good, oh, you're on top of the world. But when it's not good, man, there's some Dark Angels players who can be really whiny. And again, I'm saying that with peace and love, because I happen to know Dark Angels players IRL. Oh yes, Deathwing. Okay, all right. Well, that's fair. For those of you who don't know, so Dark Angels are a subfaction of Space Marines, or a specific chapter. They are very secretive. They don't like to talk to strangers or even other people in the Imperium. They have lots of secrets. Mostly because some of their own people went bad a long time ago. The best faction. Well, I mean, I suppose an argument could be made. They have a lot of unique rules and unique units. And secrets. Did I mention that they have lots of secrets? Like that's kind of their thing. But yeah, certain parts of their army are organized into these wings. And you can play those with various effects. It's fun. Yeah, you can play one version where you basically your entire army is all on bikes, or you can play a version where your entire army is all in Terminator armor. Their stuff is primarily green. Which is interesting because originally that Legion, their armor was black, but then they switched to green. One, two, three, four. Good. Let's finish these guys. Oh man, Tiny Chris, that would be amazing to see an army that was converted so that they were on bicycles instead of motorcycles. That would be fantastic. Oh, and have your leaders be on like the old-timey bicycles with the giant front wheel. I would love to see that. Now that's a project. Who's going to do that for their armies on display? So what's happening today? So today's Wednesday. No, Zardoz, you're not going to do that? That sounds awesome. So again, no Myths and Video Games stream today, but it will be back next week. Next Wednesday is going to be a crazy day for me. Well, I guess not that. It was going to be crazier. Next Wednesday is the international read the world world read aloud day. WRAD WRAD World Read Aloud Day. And say when everyone is encouraged to read out loud, see how it feels. So there's a whole thing, there's a program where authors can sign up and then get signed up to read out loud to school children, which is pretty cool. So I, as an author, I will be doing that. Still working out the schedule, so I don't know if I'm going to be streaming Warhammer Wednesday next morning, because I might be reading to school children and talking to them. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, the idea is cool. Like I said, this will be my first one. Tiny Chris, I'm definitely a teacher at heart. Some of my most favorite experiences were when I got to do student teaching in grad school when I was at UCSB. I love teaching people, games that I like, and I love sharing knowledge. Yeah, I have the soul of a teacher. I think I do okay talking to kids. And again, it's only for like an hour at a time, so I think I'll be all right. And it's good promotion. Talk about my book, my upcoming book. Use it for social media posts, that whole thing. Oh, they want me to write a blog post for it. Shoot, I gotta do that. More work. More fun stuff to do. Okay. All right, so close. We'll put these last two guys together, and we'll have built a small army of little creatures. Oh wow, you were a preschool teacher. My goodness, did you get hazard pay? Did they give you? They should have given you a pension for life. Oh yeah, I love that fun fact that yeah, Jaws is PG. It's insane. Sure, let anyone watch that movie. I recently watched a documentary because you gotta watch documentaries, you gotta learn stuff. This was a documentary about nudity in film. It's on Hulu. I don't remember the name of it. Skin. It's very interesting. A lot of it was about the rating systems that we've had in the U.S. over the years and how they've changed and how people exploit them or ignore them. It was very interesting. I recommend it if you're interested in the topic. Not for everybody. But yeah, I didn't know everything about all the different the codes and how the rating systems got started and how they've changed over the years. So that stuff was cool to learn. And then you can see a bunch of naked people. All right, I assume these guys go together just like the first ones did. They're just reversed. Yeah. All right, we got a body. We got a leg. Yeah, I mean, hey, look, it's PG. What do you what do you want? Ooh, these go together easier than the first ones did. Nice. Cool. Yeah, with these bases, you always got to decide which way you want to attach them. It doesn't really matter, but one way will be a little bit more balanced on the base than the other. I gotta glue his foot down. Shoot, forgot that. What did the other ones have? I don't want a loose foot popping up. Oh no! It's fine. It's all fine. This is fine. I don't know. Jaws is pretty dramatic, and when everyone's on the beach and the attack and it zooms in, you see the horror on his face. It's not all the gore, but there's certainly dramatic elements. Yeah, my 6-year-old desperately wants to watch Jaws. It was on TV, and my wife and I, we've seen it many times. So it was on TV, and it was in a part where there was nothing untoward was going to happen for a while. And so yeah, we let him watch a segment of the movie. So now he tells everybody that he watched Jaws. It's like, all right, you watched 5 minutes of Jaws. We're not exactly those parents letting him watch anything. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I think we all, I mean, every one of us has tales of like something that we watched when we shouldn't have, and that affected us, and we'll never forget. Yeah, I don't know exactly what that's going to be for my kids, or what we'll show them, thinking, "Oh, you're old enough to watch this," and then sometimes they are not. Ooh, that glue kind of spilled out. That's right. Okay. Uh, did you see The Shark? No. Is that the name of a movie, The Shark? Or are you asking if you saw the shark in Jaws? Ooh, Exorcist. Yeah, that's a good one. It's a good one to show little kids. Yeah, I saw a bunch of stuff when I was too young. Oh, the time. I think. Yeah, I mean, he saw the shark, but again, not when it was doing anything super crazy. Just when it was in the water. I saw. I saw RoboCop when I was way too young to be watching things like that. So that was a good one. I'm not. You know what? I don't know how old I was. Only that I should not have seen RoboCop at the age that I did. And parts of that movie stuck with me in not a good way. But you know, we all go through that. Oh no. Oh, I did not see RoboCop in the theaters. No. When did that come out? Wait, you didn't see an original release in the theaters? Ooh, underage Blue Velvet watching. There you go. That'll. Wait, Zardoz, when did RoboCop come out? Why were you? Why did? How in the world did you see that in the theater? What were you, 7? Who took you to see RoboCop in the theater in 1987? That's crazy. Yikes. Well, I mean, arguably, if the kid is mature enough, Jackass might not be the worst thing for an 11-year-old. And a lot of 11-year-olds are jackasses, so that could work out. Oh man, I would not have a 5-year-old watch RoboCop. Dear God, that is not cool. You were down for RoboCop? Okay, all right. Hey, I'm not judging. All right. So what did we build today? We built 4 spindle drones. These itty bitty aliens with their 3 legs. You know, I could glue that back leg down to the base. It is loose. I don't really care. It's fine. Yeah, Zardoz, sure, but the violence and gore in that movie is pretty extreme. And I tell you, as somebody who was scarred for life for it a little bit. Yeah, definitely the tripod. Yeah, I love tripod stuff. Did you hear that in England they released some sort of commemorative thing about War of the Worlds, and there's one of the walkers and it has 4 legs, and everyone's like, you had one job. Like, you literally, that's the main thing about the craziness and the creepiness of War of the Worlds is that they're alien and they have 3 legs, and nothing here has 3 legs like that. And no. Exactly. And then they had some artist who did it. It was like, no, I know that it's supposed to be a tripod, but we we're doing like a different version or something. And they're like, no, it's a goddamn tripod. We have 4 of these ghoul things. These ghouls. They don't really have eyes. I don't know what you can see. They have like these little bumpy things in the front of their face. And then 4 of these rad electro dudes. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, these are all bad guys. Things that you encounter as you, the heroic adventurers, are going through the Blackstone Fortress. I don't know, heroic adventurers. I mean, you're really like grave robbers / adventurers, they call them. So all that I have left to do are another set of the Traitor Guardsmen, and then a couple of these Chaos Beastmen, which are pretty cool. And see, for these, I need some of the bases with the holes, because they attach through the holes. Now, you don't actually need that. You can just cut off the little peg and then glue their hoof down, but it certainly is easier if you actually have the right bases for those. So I need to remember that. Cool. And then I'll be done with building at least another one of the many box sets I have lying around. Maybe they just need hugs. That's true. Some people just need a good hug. Don't go hug anybody right now, though, during the pandemic. Oh, man. I don't know how many of you seen. There's somebody, I don't know if he's a comedian or a writer or whatever, but he did a little TikTok or Twitter video or whatever, making fun of the situation here in Los Angeles and the insanely mixed messages we're getting about what we should be doing during this pandemic. And it's funny. If you're not from here, it's going to be much less funny, because there are certain things that just very specifically refer to stuff going on here in LA. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I laughed. So that's going to be it for me for today. I've got kid duty today while my wife works on soaps and things. And Zardoz, 100%. I mean, it's arguable how much his senses were in control this whole time. I mean, he's one of these who announced pretty draconian measures, but then was flaunting them himself and doing a bunch of crap, and that's never good. And then, like, the second the infection rates started to tick down by a tiny percentage, he cowed to all the interest groups, wanting to open things up, and it's a mess. It's a mess. Yeah. But what are you going to do? We all, I mean, ideally we should all be in this together, but it's more like every person for themselves. So I'll say this entire pandemic, we have not changed anything that we do. We don't go out unless we have to. We wear masks, everything all the time. We don't interact with people other than the people in our little pod. Yeah, I mean, we're just doing our thing. We're hoping, we're waiting, we're watching the news to find out when we get the vaccine. Thankfully, we have older family members who either are, they have appointments or they're on the list for when they're available, and we just gotta wait this out. Just gotta do the right thing. We have relatives who are fucking batshit crazy and going out and just living life and doing whatever they want, and we're not going to see those people for a very long time, if ever. So Yeah, and for those of you who are living in places that are even less evolved, I guess you might say, I sincerely wish you luck. Yeah, unfortunately, I think we all. It sounds like most of us have relatives, at least in some branch of the tree, that are like that. But yes, exactly, Builder Us. Please, everyone, stay safe. We want to be able to get past this, be healthy, and do more fun stuff again. We want to go out and do things. There's a reason why, we got to be safe now so we can live life again one day. All right. Good. Positivity. Yay. Yay for safety, for health, for love. We all love one another. Yeah. So next week will be the return of Myths and Video Games Wednesday afternoon with Pete. But until then, have a great boo to hugs. No, yay to consensual hugs. Let's say that. We'll put it that way. Hugs are not for everyone, and that's okay. All right, everybody. Have a good rest of today. Have a good Thursday. I'll see you back here Friday morning for something. I don't know. We'll do something Friday morning. All right, have a good one. I'm not going to do any rating, so you're on your own, free to do whatever you want. Go, be free. Okay, bye.